Welcome back to Nico Dark Archives. Tonight, we're diving into one of the strangest and most chilling encounters in American folklore, the Hopkinsville Goblins incident. This is a story of fear, mystery, and the unknown that still puzzles investigators to this day. What really happened on that Kentucky farm all those years ago? Our story begins in the quiet, rural town of Kelly, Kentucky, near Hopkinsville, on the warm evening of August 21st, 1955. The Sutton family and their guests were enjoying a simple night at their farmhouse, completely unaware that their lives were about to change forever. They were about to experience something that would go down in history. The sun had set, the crickets were chirping, and everything seemed perfectly normal. But normal was about to end. Around 7 o'clock that evening, one of the family's guests, a man named Billy Ray Taylor, went outside to fetch some water from the well. As he stood there, he glanced up at the sky and saw something incredible. A glowing metallic object streaked across the darkness before disappearing behind a line of trees. He sprinted back into the house, shouting that he had just seen a flying saucer. At first, the others laughed it off, but that laughter wouldn't last long. Just a few minutes later, the family dog started barking furiously outside. Billy Ray and another man, Elmer Lucky Sutton, grabbed their shotguns and stepped out onto the porch to see what was causing the commotion. And that's when they saw it. A small, humanoid creature with huge, shining eyes, pointed ears, and long, spindly arms that nearly touched the ground. Its body seemed to glow with a faint, metallic sheen in the moonlight. The creature wasn't walking. It appeared to be hovering as it approached the house. The men, terrified, raised their guns and fired. The bullets made a strange metallic pinging sound, but the creature didn't fall. Instead, it did a backflip and vanished into the darkness. What followed was a nightmare. For the next 3 to 4 hours, the Sutton farmhouse was under siege. The creatures, and there were possibly as many as a dozen of them, completely surrounded the home. They peered through the windows with their glowing eyes, scrambled onto the roof, and crept towards the front and back doors. Each time one appeared, the family fired their guns. The beings never managed to get inside the house, but they never seemed afraid either. They just kept coming. It was a relentless, terrifying ordeal that felt like it would never end. Later, when the police interviewed the witnesses, their descriptions were shockingly consistent. The creatures were about 3 to 4 feet tall, with silvery or metallic-looking skin. They had large, glowing yellow eyes, pointed ears, and claw-like hands. None of the witnesses could recall seeing a nose or a mouth. Some even said the beings appeared weightless, as if they were gliding just above the ground. They didn't seem human, or like any animal they had ever seen. They seemed otherworldly. Finally, around 11 o'clock at night, the terrified family saw a break in the attack. They all piled into 2 cars and sped to the Hopkinsville police station. Within the hour, a convoy of more than a dozen police officers, military police from nearby Fort Campbell, and news reporters descended on the Sutton home. They found a scene of chaos, bullet holes riddling the walls, broken windows, and spent shotgun shells scattered everywhere. But they found no creatures. However, several officers reported seeing strange, unexplained lights in the sky and hearing odd, scurrying sounds coming from the nearby woods. After the authorities searched the property and left, the Suttons returned home, hoping the nightmare was finally over. But it wasn't. Shortly after 2:30 in the morning, the creatures came back. Once again, their eerie faces appeared at the windows. The family heard scratching on the walls and tapping on the roof. The second siege continued until the first light of dawn. And then, just as suddenly as it had all begun, it was over. The goblins were gone. By the next morning, the story had spread like wildfire. Newspapers across America were calling it the invasion of the little green men, even though the family never said they were green. Reporters camped outside the Sutton farmhouse, and UFO researchers from all over the country arrived to investigate. The family, overwhelmed by the attention, insisted they weren't seeking fame or money. They just wanted to be left in peace. But the event would forever link the name Hopkinsville with mysterious alien visitors. Of course, the skeptics had their theories. Some suggested that the family had simply misidentified a flock of great horned owls, whose large, glowing eyes and silent flight could easily frighten people in the dark. Others believed it was a case of mass hysteria, fueled by fear and alcohol, although there was no evidence the family had been drinking. But no one could adequately explain why so many different witnesses, including children, all described the exact same beings. And what about the strange lights seen by the police officers that same night? Today, the Hopkinsville Goblins have become a legendary part of American UFO folklore. The incident has inspired movies, television shows, video games, and even an annual Kelly Little Green Men Days festival held in Kentucky. For some, it's a quirky, small-town legend. But for others, it remains one of the most credible and well-documented close encounters ever recorded. The sheer number of witnesses and the physical evidence left behind make it a case that's hard to dismiss entirely. So, what do you think happened that night? Was the Sutton family visited by beings from another world? Or were they simply victims of an extraordinary misunderstanding? The Hopkinsville Goblins incident remains a timeless and fascinating mystery. It's a story that reminds us just how thin the line can be between what we see, what we experience, and what we're willing to believe. The truth, whatever it is still out there. Thank you for watching Nico Dark Archives. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden corners of America's strangest mysteries, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There are so many more secrets waiting to be found in the dark.